And now a bit of sad news in the world of media today. This actually happened last week, last Thursday, I believe, when Hollywood indeed lost a great legend in the world of movies. Sir Christopher Lee, you know him better as Dracula, the professor in Gremlins 2, and the mayor from The Wicker Man of the original 1970 version, as well as the evil wizard Saruman in the Lord of the Rings series. He died 93 years old, and this article in which I found is from BBC.com. I'm going to share a bit of what actually happened. Sir Christopher Lee, the veteran actor and star of many of the world's biggest film franchises, died aged 93. The English-born actor who made his name playing Dracula and Frankenstein's monster in the Hammer horror films appeared in more than 250 movies. He was best known for his villainous roles, including Scaramanga in James Bond, The Man with the Golden Gun, and evil wizard Saruman in The Lord of the Rings. The actor's other credits include, as I mentioned, The Wicker Man and Star Wars. He was Palpatine. The actor is reported to have died. No. Count Dooku. My bad. He was Count Dooku. The actor is reported to have died on Sunday at Chelsea and Westminster Hospital in London after being hospitalized for respiratory problems and heart failure. A Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea council spokesman said, "We can confirm that the Register Office issued a death certificate for Mr. Christopher Lee on Monday, June 8th. Mr. Lee died on a Sunday, June 7th. He was knighted in 2009 for services to drama and charity and was awarded a BAFTA Fellowship in 2011. One of the first to pay tribute was James Bond actor Roger Moore, who tweeted, "It's terribly sad when you lose an old friend, and Christopher Lee was one of my oldest friends. We met in 1948. His Lord of the Rings co-star Dominic Monaghan said, so sorry to hear that Christopher Lee has passed away. He was a fascinating person. He truly was." Sir Christopher also worked with director Tim Burton on 5 films, including Sleepy Hollow in 1999, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in 2005. Burton described him as an enormous inspiration. Let me turn this off because I feel kind of hoarse. The great, always criminally underrated Sir Christopher Lee has left us. Actor and writer Mike Gatiss tweeted, "A titan of cinema and a huge part of my youth. Farewell." George Lucas, who directed Sir Christopher in Star Wars Episode 1, Attack of the Clones, said Christopher was a great British actor of the old school, a true link to cinema's past, and a real gentleman. We will miss him. Actor Reese Shearsmith called him an amazing gentleman who brought us so many iconic roles. He will be missed. Broadcaster Jonathan Ross said, "So sad to hear that Sir Christopher Lee has died. A great actor, great star, surprisingly good singer, and a lovely, lovely man." Writer Neil Gaiman said he was so lucky and proud to have had Lee in the cast of BBC Radio's 4 recent dramatization of Neverwhere. "Great actor, great loss," he tweeted. "We are deeply saddened to hear that Sir Christopher Lee has passed away," the British Film Institute said, or the BFI. Yes, the roles he played. Born in affluence in London in 1922, Sir Christopher traces lineage to Charlemagne, the first Holy Roman Emperor. That's deep. After public school, he served in the Royal Air Force Volunteer Reserve during the Second World War, where he in dispatches. His screen career began when he joined the Rank Organization in 1947, training as an actor in their so-called charm school. It was his association with British studio Hammer that made him a household name, playing characters such as Frankenstein's monster, the Mummy, and Dracula in the late 1950s. I know it's Dracula, but it's pronounced Dracula. Sir Christopher would go on to reprise the trademark vampire role in a number of sequels before laying him to rest in the 1970s. He appeared in 1976 to The Devil a Daughter, the last horror movie of Hammer's original era, but returned to the Hammer stable for its 21st century launch in 2011's The Resident, which starred Hilary Swank. His 6'4" frame and pointed features often typecast him as a bad guy. His distant cousin Ian Fleming, author of the James Bond books, wanted him to play Dr. No in the same film, in the film of the same name, but that role went to Joseph Wiseman. Lee eventually starred as Scaramanga in 1974 as the Man with the Golden Gun. He also played Fu Manchu in a series of films in the 1960s. Actually, I saw that quite a few weeks back. Pretty good. Yes, and here it is. The Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Star Wars prequels, in which he played the nefarious Count Dooku, were the most successful of his career from a commercial standpoint. He also demonstrated his versatility in comedies like 1941 and Gremlins 2. I remember Gremlins 2 very much. His other films included 1959's The Hound of the Baskervilles, The Three Musketeers in 1973, and Gina, which he considered to be one of his most important films in 1997. I've appeared in so many films that were ahead of their time. Some of them were very good, the actor told the BBC News website in 2001. Some weren't. A lover of opera, Sir Christopher launched his singing career in the 1990s with an album of Broadway tunes, including I Stole the Prince from Gilbert and Sullivan's The Gondoliers and Epiphany from Sweeney Todd. He also enjoyed an unlikely heavy metal career. In 2010, his album Charlemagne by the Sword and the Cross won a Spirit of Metal award from Metal Hammer magazine. He marked his 92nd birthday by releasing an album of heavy metal cover versions. Now, I mentioned in a few videos back of why this is sort of important. Why I mentioned Lord of the Rings and Christopher Lee. I do have a few parts of Lord of the Rings re-recorded, but I really need to finish the rest of it. And out of respect, I am going to finish the game as it was meant to be. That means whatever I'm going to backtrack or make commentary over, that's what I'm going to do, if need be. And I'm technically just going to finish the game, because I believe he lent his voice as Saruman in the Lego version of the Lord of the Rings. I do believe. But that is not all that happened in the news. Actually, during the same time, we lost another legend. This one not from film, but in sports. As a matter of fact, this comes from the BleacherReport.com. And I'm actually surprised. This man, as I remember him in the golden era of WWE, when it was really called the when back in the day it wasn't called World Wrestling Entertainment, it was called World Wrestling Federation. Dusty Rhodes, WWE Hall of Famer, dies at age 69. And before I actually start talking about this article, I want to say I can care less for the new breed of WWE. And as a matter of fact, I do not care about this new generation. You know, I've always been a fan of the old school. I could care less about stories. I could care less about factions, all that kind of shit. I could care less about this. I could care less about the stuff now. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna say something about it Monday, or they're gonna have some kind of tribute about it. Because I've only learned about it since last week. And it was the same time that I learned about Christopher Lee died. It just happened. The wrestling world lost a true legend Thursday as WWE Hall of Famer Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, died at the age of 69. WWE.com first reported the tragic news, although details surrounding his passing were not immediately available. WWE Executive Vice President of Talent, Live Events, and Creative Paul Triple A Levesque tweeted some kind words about the American Dream after the news broke out. Saddened to hear the passing of Dusty Rhodes, legend, teacher, mentor, friend. Love you, Dream. Rhodes will forever be remembered as one of the most popular and charismatic stars in wrestling history. The Austin, Texas native. Austin, Texas. That's where my uncle. That's where I usually visit my uncle. Oh, God rest his soul. The Austin, Texas native was a three-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion and engaged in memorable feuds with Ric Flair, Terry Funk, Harley Race, and many others. In recent years, Rhodes lent his talent to WWE's developmental system. Sorry if I'm kind of like not here, kind of like doing this to the best of my ability. Thank you. In recent years, Rhodes lent his talent to WWE's developmental system Next, or NXT, where he worked as a booker, producer, and mentor to the up-and-coming talent, which to this day still ain't no up-and-coming talent. I don't care what you say. I really don't. Current WWE superstar Titus O'Neil fondly remembers the interactions he had with Dusty. Very saddening to hear the passing of WWE legend Dusty Rhodes, who helped us so many, including myself, to live a dream. God bless the family. The same can be said for tag team champion Xavier Woods. One of the greatest passed away today. Thank you for everything. You taught me. We will miss you. I would play the theme song, but I don't want to get copyright. You know, I don't want to get third-party copyright just for playing that theme song. Rhodes left an everlasting mark on the wrestling business, and his legend will continue to grow as his son Dustin Goldust and Cody Stardust Rhodes are still part of the WWE roster. While Rhodes never had a great physique and wasn't a technical marvel in the ring, he connected with the people like few others due to his common man and son of a plumber monikers. The American Dream was a true one-of-a-kind talent in the wrestling business, and his contributions will be remembered for many years to come. And like I said before, you know, I have a great and grand respect for the old school, because if it weren't for the old school, the quote-unquote new school would not be around as long as they should. And a lot of times, I don't care if it's storyline related or however the fuck they do it now. Like I said, I don't give a fuck about what they do on WWE anymore. But still, you have to show respect, even if it's in the storyline. You have to show respect to those who went before you. It's only right and it's only fair that you do that. I mean, storyline be damned. Okay? I feel that's what's messing up wrestling now. Storylines are basically just messing up the whole goddamn thing of wrestling. I mean, I understand it's entertainment, but really, if I want to see wrestling, I want to see wrestling. I could care less about a story. You know, if I want to see some action, I'd be watching El Rey right now. You know, I will watch Lucha. I'll be watching Lucha Underground or something like that. But I'm gonna say this out of respect. But as I said before, wrestling is more of a sport. It should not be that of a soap opera. And you know, when you tarnish a sport in which is full contact, that means moves. That means moves like a pile driver, the camel clutch, a DDT, a figure four leg lock. Hell, even in Kinnikuman, Man, even the ones that were made up. Good Lord, it was all about the wrestling. It wasn't about the story. The story is part of it, but the sport was mainly important. I mean, the story was one thing, but you know, seeing the actual characters actually go into wrestling, that's important. And it's the same thing for anything else. You know, you just can't just say, "Oh, well, we're gonna make a story and we're gonna make all this." Like I said, I do not like putting a soap opera with wrestling. It just don't fit. I've lost interest with wrestling because of that kind of shit. It's not the people, it's what they do. The storyline's kind of like, if it's trying to make sense, I'm sorry, but I don't care for it. It's the same thing with the flavor of the month. I can care less for the flavor of the month. I can care less about who's the hot shot of the wrestling world right now, because I just want to see a sport. I really want to see a sport. I don't care about anything else but the sport. I care more for the sport than the stupid shit that's trying to make itself look less than it shouldn't be. But as I said before, it's a sad thing when two legends die on the same exact day. It almost feels like it's like, how should I say this? It's like Guan Yu and Zhang Fei, the Peachtree Oath, and it's like they died on the same day at the same time on the same year. That's how the oath was. So even though we might be of different origins, we shall die on the same we shall die on the same day, on the same month, of the same year, or however the saying is supposed to be. And truly, these two men, Dusty Rhodes and Sir Christopher Lee, they are personally masters of their respectable crafts, and they should be given the highest, and I do mean highest of respect for what they have done for today's generation of artists. And on that note, I have been the Tenkaichi of Gaming and Otaku, and I just wanted to share this moment with you, the viewing audience, and I'll see you next time with more videos. Join me later as I throw up a few reviews, and most likely for the rest of the week, more of my Let's Plays. So until then, take care, God bless, have a great week, and I'll see you next time with whatever develops. So until then, take care, God bless, and of course, as always, Tenkai Muso.